Well, also looking for a promotion, that would be State Senator Josh McLaurin. He is in his 7th year under the Gold Dome, and the Sandy Springs Democrat recently launched his campaign for lieutenant governor. We sit down with him in this week's Sunday Conversation. State Senator Josh McLaurin, you have announced you're running for lieutenant governor. Why do you want to be Georgia's next lieutenant governor?
Well, we need leaders who have energy. We need leaders who are honest and courageous and tell the truth. And I think one of the biggest problems we have right now in a chaotic Trump administration, we don't have the state leadership that we need to be standing up to some of that chaos and calling it like it is and asking for a different course. So the tariffs are just the tip of the iceberg.
We're taping this conversation on Monday. Earlier this morning, the United States dropped tariffs on China from 145% to 30%, and in turn, China dropped their tariffs on American goods to 10%. Do you think this latest evolution in the trade and tariff conversation is a good thing for the United States? Is this a win by the Trump administration?
I mean, when a chaos agent acts in a slightly less chaotic way, is that a win? I mean, the 30% tariff is still a historic tariff that's higher than I think almost any other that Trump is trying to impose. That is a cost that the businesses who are increasing their prices will be passing along to consumers. So starting at a crazy number like 140 doesn't make it any better. When you land at a number like 10, it is still a trade war that serves nothing but Trump's ego. And so I think this is one of the things that voters are really fed up with. People are exhausted by partisan politics. People are sick of the fighting. But at the same time, people are sick of somebody's ego or authoritarian impulses being what drives all of our public policy. Nobody wants a country that serves the whims of one man, or at least a vanishingly small percentage of voters want that. And so,
I hate to cut you off, but
yeah.
I just want to be clear.
Sure.
You mentioned authoritarian impulses.
Yeah,
That's a heavy, weighty thing to say.
It is.
Do you think President Donald Trump is an authoritarian leader?
I think that he'd like to be. I think that we have a long and storied tradition of democracy in this country that prevents him from doing the things that he would want to do. I think having leaders who get it, who understand this is just too chaotic and we need to return to some sense of normalcy and growing the economy in the way that we're used to and not this kind of crazy bend off to the side. I think that's really what Georgians are looking for in their state government as well.
A moment ago you said people are tired of the partisanship and the partisan fighting. You also just spent a lot of time talking about your concerns about what you described as President Trump's authoritarian impulses.
Right.
Those seem to be two things, kind of opposite sides of the coin. How do you balance those two?
You have to stand up for what you believe in, and everything I just said to you, I believe. I think that Trump is one of the biggest threats to American democracy that we've ever seen in this lifetime, and our way of life, for all the reasons we've been talking about. And so I still have to say that, but I don't have to say that in a way where I'm personally, super angry and worked up and trying to, undermine my friends and colleagues who I work with in the Capitol.
Is that a tough needle to thread? Because you and I both know there are going to be people who hear you say that about President Trump, and they're going to find that very inflammatory.
They may. They may. But I think part of it is having a good sense of humor. And part of it is valuing people. The reason that I criticize President Trump in this way is because I care about small businesses. I care about whether the economy can keep functioning the way that people expect it to keep growing.
From where you sit, what is the #1 problem facing Georgia right now?
The #1 problem is that this economy doesn't work for everybody. And there are people who work 2 to 3 jobs just to have the basic quality of life that our parents and grandparents enjoyed in a lot of cases. That is just part of our conversation. You can find the full interview right now on 11 Alive Plus. You can download it on your TV and watch for free.